Hello. Just wanted to give a short rundown of the content engine that uh, was built for you guys. Um, so, this is a collapsible menu. We're gonna make this pinnable or make it pinned on default. And the idea is that the the engine will pick up things off of this queue, and anything that's approved will periodically get published. You can also trigger a manual run. This purple run hyperstition will immediately pick up something off of the queue and publish it. So the system decides what is the optimal piece of content to publish. And right now, it is publishing to sort of my Digital Rain um, account, and it publishes a mix of threaded, in this case, a very long thread, talking about zero point energy and medium-sized threads, or just this banger here, which I'm particularly proud of because this account is so small. It got 120 organic views, and it's talking about how Abraham got the first DM from God, and he left his life to trust a process. He did it. He had no map, just a promise, no timeline. And then 4,000 years later, we're still afraid to quit jobs we hate. I can relate to that pretty well. And the voice never stopped calling, but nobody answers anymore. So I thought this was completely generated by the system based on some curated historical data that's in the database. And so the top down, we're actually guiding, everything is sort of guided by this what we call the hyperstation matrix. And so the two matrices are quantum development or quantum breakthroughs and Bitcoin response. So whether the Bitcoin community is reacting to quantum development. So right now, quantum development is gradual, and the Bitcoin response is quite reactive. And we're trying to nudge things towards a more proactive Bitcoin response, and we're trying to make the environment more proactive from a quantum develop perspective. And so it's trying to reason about what types of content and posting will get us there. And so this is just the latest assessment. I do need to make it, for the guys that are curious, people can click through. I want to make it so that people can click through to find out what the previous assessments were. And I think this is possibly great content if the QDanon site gets opened up. It might be really interesting for people to click through to see how the system reasons about what to post and some of the inner workings. I think that would be great content that maybe you could gate through tokens or NFTs or whatever. And so this is the dashboard. You can add content uh, to basically add to the queue directly. We have some paging. It's quite snappy, but I do maybe want to improve the usability over here and make sure this filtering works, because we do want to make sure that we don't re-queue previously queued content. Um, and you can, if you click on one of them, you do get information and metadata around how that content was generated and the reasoning behind the specific points it makes. So it's a fully reasoning and very rich metadata system. Um, Here's some more mundane information about the system health and whether it's healthy, and some information about the queue, how long the system has been up, and some system metrics. Um, and so yeah, and so here's the interface of how to you can paste basically any URL or Twitter post, and it will try to uh, analyze it. Oh, okay. And try to read. Looks like this might have been. Oh, I do have cloud scraping. I'm using something that can bypass cloud scraping, and so hopefully it will be able to um, transcribe or out the information from here. and this is our content generation. So the idea here is you can select individual pieces of content, and it will go through and generate multiple different styles of content, like a banger. Um, oh, why don't we try to do a demonstration? Um, Discovery, the Dead Sea Scrolls, Crucifixion of Christ, Leibniz. I like Bletchley Park. So why don't we go through and see what the system does? This will take some time, and we can view what it does in the back. So the idea is, like, as these log messages are generating, we can have WebSocket status updates to the front. So that's part of the polish that I wanted to do, and I want to give myself about a month to do things properly. I've been sort of working quite extensively just I wanted to basically deliver a great piece of a great engine for you guys. I hope I've done that. And but for this, I wanted to be more measured and not build so frantically. I feel like the code base could do some slimming down and cleanup, as well as optimizing and polishing things properly. So let's see. This is content generation process. So why don't we let that go on, and then we can go into the. Oh, by the way, there's full login and users and things like that in the system. So content library is another way to view the data. You can click on things, view the research summaries. I do have to work on this is part of the polish. Some of the things are untitled, so we need to have some LLM action to give proper titles to everything. But you can dig in and view the historical content better. And I do want to make it more easy to find things or view what's available with filtering chips and so on. Um, Here's the research papers that is currently broken. This was working before, but this is more of a visual exploration of research papers. Most of these are just metadata, which is just abstracts and titles. Some are full papers, the Bitcoin papers in there. Um, but yeah, these were mostly extracted from Semantic Scholar. I think Chris, I built that basically for Chris because I know he likes research. Hyperstition we went through. So this is basically how the engine decides what to pick from the approved queue to publish. Oh, by the way, uh, the when it wakes up is also it uses reasoning to determine when to wake up next. So it's a pretty extensive reasoning system that decides what to publish and when to wake up again, based on what has been already published and the hyperstition matrix. So I played around with various ideas on trying to add more structure or rails on how publish should happen, but went through a couple of different ideas. They didn't really feel right. I feel like this gives us the right balance of structure and flexibility, and we're just taking advantage of what AI gives us, which is reasoning. Here are the AI instructions, which is basically the optimized prompts. This is a bit out of date because we don't do I Ching tweets anymore. We just do more um, general tweets that are just guided by the content. But this can give you an idea of how the system can come up with optimized instructions using the DSPY framework. Okay, so um, and so right now this is just tweets, and this is the we are using the summarization um, prompts, and these work quite well. Let's see, is this done? Okay, great. About 100 seconds, almost 2 minutes. So from that one piece about Bletchley Park, it generates four pieces of content, each with extensive reasoning and background information. And so let's just go through some of these. Bletchley Park. was Britain's central code-breaking hub, where cryptographic warfare necessitated the world's first programmable digital computer, Colossus, 1943. What a cool name. This parallel to the Manhattan Project demonstrates how national security crises accelerate computational innovation. Of course, we talk about Alan Turing and Tommy Flowers, established principles that underpin modern computing, AI, and cryptography directly influence today's quantum and post-quantum security research. Strategic insight: classified cryptographic efforts today likely drive hidden advances in quantum computing, suggesting that breakthrough decryption capabilities may emerge within 5 to 10 years. Um, and then we've got a banger. Wild how Bletchley Park literally invented computers to break encryption, and now we're building quantum computers to break the encryption they created. Oh, I like that. The original cryptographers became the security architects we're now racing to outpace. History isn't repeating, it's rhyming in qubits. This is quite clever. And then there's historical insight that tries to find patterns in history. So it's talking about Colossus and cycles of talking about what happened in the past 80 years. The smartphone in your pocket contains concepts first proven by Colossus. I like that. I don't want to read through it all, but generally the content is of decent quality, of this level. And then we've got an intelligence brief, which is meant to be a terse um, briefing meant for heads of state. And we can adjust what is, all of these fields are also available for publication, but this is what's chosen, but it can be, we can modify that. And actually this is quite a fun, you can imagine if you could format this in some kind of like typewriter style, State Department briefing, it might be quite fun. And it's not meant to be as extensive as the Valis stuff. This is meant to be very terse, short, to the point. Um, okay, so why don't we put this social banger onto the queue so it's queued. And then what we can do is let's go to this other window. Let's go to the dashboard. And this is one of the polish items. I need to fix the refresh. I'd have to do a hard refresh in the browser, and then it appears, and then I can approve it, and then it's available now. So you can show the details and see them. You can see that I was the one who approved it. We've got a content hash to prevent duplication. Um, and yeah, the system is quite extensive. This is another thing that we need to fix. We know when to wake up, but it's just the UI isn't showing it properly. Don't worry about this. This is to debug local storage in the browser, and this is sort of the admin panel. So as new users come in, if they just click on the sign in site, they'll come in as a user with no access or inactive, but admins can then approve them to be either a normal user, which can't generate content, they can just view, versus an admin, which can generate and view content. And this is another view of the queue. Um, this is some interesting, we can disable posting. Okay. And looks like this needs to be polished and made more accurate. Here's some another view into the DISP prompts. You get a little bit more detail into the inner workings of DSPY and how it trains and what the examples it uses. And then, of course, you could, in theory, override a specific prompt, but this is not really. Oh, okay, you can just override it right here. Um, Yeah. So this is a bit, I have not touched this area in quite some time. I probably won't have time to deal too much with this part. The data tab is about our embeddings and just having a job interface to keep our vector embeddings up to date. And so that's the admin panel. So that's pretty much it. It's a pretty full featured system. It's got users, it's got roles, it's got security, it's got provenance tracking, who's approved what, or who's created what, or who's ingested what. And that's it. Thank you so much. We're hitting about 14 minutes. Jesus, thank you. Um, and my name's Augustine Chan with Digital Rain Technologies.